Everybody, I'm your host, Moshe Canty. I tuned in the We Locked In. What's going on, everybody out there? B-Lo, I see you in the chat. It's good to have everybody tuned in with us. It's good to have everybody locked in with us. I'm gonna wait for everybody to start pulling up, man. KK should be here. Mikey B should be here in a minute. As soon as they come in, man, we can get started. But again, man, when you come in, please, man, chat, hit the notification bell so you. Dial tone salute, man. Shout it out, my brother. How you been, man? Again, shout it out to everybody that's tuned in to We Locked In. I'm your host, Moshe Canty.
Good, man.
I'm here with my co-host, KK.
Be in there in a second, man. Show my face in a second, man. Just doing a bunch of stuff right now.
All right, just mute yourself, KK, please. I'm glad to see that everybody's tuned in with us. Right now, I'm en route. I'm waiting to get to my house right now, so I can make the change. But I'm doing great. Thank you, Dial Tone, man. I know it's everything's been good. Just taking it easy, man. It's good to see you, my brother. As always, man. We've known each other for a very long time, man. So it's always good to see that you're alive, you're well. We keeping each other strong, man, because we only have one life, man. So it's really, 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 important that we keep each other up. Hey, Sadie B, what's going on? And first of all, I'm not Hollywood. I'm Hollywood now. Get it right. So if you're gonna do it the right way, we're gonna do it. Hold on, let me take them back off of you. I'm not Hollywood now. All right? Hold on. Don't get it twisted. All right, hold on. Now I'm Hollywood. You feel me? Yo, I had to wear these glasses, man, because I be getting these bad stars under my eyes, man. So anytime you see me throw those on, that means, my eyes is messed up, man. So, I didn't want y'all to see that ugly eye of mine. But it's all good, man. I'm doing well. I'm glad to see all of y'all are doing well out there. We're gonna give y'all some quality input today, man. Some content today because, it's time for us to just have these conversations. But more importantly, inform you guys about, our history, about where we come from, the people who gave so much of their lives in our community, whether good or bad. We want to be able to highlight all of these things. These things are important for all of us, right? We want to put the information out there so that I always like to use this word so that we can gain some benefit from it. All too often, man, we getting information and the information is not really beneficial, right? So, at the end of the day, yeah, we want to be entertained, but, we want to be able to gain something that we can kind of use on our journey because everybody has their own journey, right? Everybody's on their own time. And you want to be able to gain something from it so that you can utilize it or perhaps even pass it on to somebody who might also be able to gain benefit. Many of us have nephews, nieces, we have our own kids, just people who are in our lives that, we have influence over. So within that sphere of influence, it's important that we share with them our lessons, our life lessons, or the lessons of our predecessors so that they can then learn from the mistakes that we made. This is what this is all about. So yeah, we got some good content today. As you guys see, the title is Revolutionaries versus Gangbangers. I'm gonna get into what was the reason why KK, Mikey B, and we decided to come up with that specific title. Um, it's important that we put things into context so that you have a better understanding of how we come to these these conclusions of what topics we want to discuss and things like that. So so it's important that we we pretty much put certain things into perspective. Like, what is it that's happening behind the scenes, between Mikey B and KK and I, as we sit down and we strategize and we put together these ideas that we believe are relevant and even pertinent to our people, right? So, so we're sitting down, and initially, you guys probably got notification. Some of you guys I probably sent the link to, that we were going to have a conversation about Mac and his contribution to the destruction of us in our community, right? But my colleagues shot back at me. In this case, Mikey B. Mikey was like, "Yo, Mo, like, all right, well, we already had that conversation. People already having this conversation. This conversation has been already a part of the narrative, um, which is social media or YouTube. The people are already familiar with Mac, and the fact that he may have done what he did in the past, and how it has contributed to who we are today as just a people overall, because we have been impacted directly, and now because our relatives, our nieces, our nephews, our sons, and our daughters are a part of the life itself. Now we're being indirectly impacted by it and things of that nature, right? So, with that being the case, it's important for individuals to not take for granted the time that we spend with you guys up here, because it's easy for us to just come up here and kind of put this content out there, but forget about the fact that this is some information that is really, really serious. It's very, very much impactful. So in the process of Mikey B and I going back and forth, I realized that what, Mikey's right, that there's a larger conversation that we can have, and that conversation is bigger than New York. It's bigger than Mac. What about California? What about individuals like Tookie Williams? What about individuals like OG Pudding? What about individuals like Rooster? Right? What about individuals Mikey B? Mikey B.
Well, yo, what up? What up?
Yo, what's up, my brother? How you doing? I'm just giving them some backdrop real quick about what got us to this point right here. You hear me?
Oh, where you let them know how we was going
Yeah,
back and forth and all that?
going back and forth. We was wrestling, man. We was fighting, man. You know what I mean? My brother. One thing I love about, and I'm gonna say this to you, Mikey. One thing I love about the fact that we sit behind the scenes and we can like mental joust with one another about what we believe are the best ideas. You're not my yes man. I'm not your yes man. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna like hold each other to account. Like, nah, bro, that's not a good idea. You like, yo, Mo, this is a good idea. You tell me your reasons why it's a good idea. I tell you why I believe it's a good idea. We disagree. You convince me. I'm like, damn, you know what, Mikey? You're right. That's a great idea. So I'm just kind of like explaining to them how, when I initially came up with the idea, you was like, yo, we could do better than that. And now I'm explaining to them like, yo, what about the brothers out there on the West Coast like OG Rooster? What about Pudding? What about Raymond Washington? What about Tookie? What about the brothers in Chicago? What about Jeff
Yeah,
Falk? What about
KK.
Willie Lloyd?
Yeah,
You know,
KK bring another whole depth to the conversation with that as well. He added on a lot to that too.
he
Um,
did. He did.
yo, there you go, right here.
Here you go right here. Sound like him up.
Yeah, you been here a long time. Peace, bro. Peace, beloved. What's up, bro?
Peace, man. What's up, my brother?
Having some technical issues. My camera wasn't coming on my damn laptop.
Nah, don't worry. We know if it's anybody that's having technological issues, we know it's you, brother. We forgive you, brother.
Yeah, bro. I just
So
wanted to tap in with y'all.
I'm explaining that, yo, this is important that we have these dialogues. And my brother saw this and he was like, yo, bro, that's really healthy that you can have individuals. Because imagine, Mikey, if I was by myself. Imagine if you're by yourself. Imagine if KK by itself. Then there's nobody to kind of check anything that we're saying or doing. Even if we know it might be a good idea for us, it might not necessarily be good for us all, because we can kind of see the lack of benefit that it might produce in terms of our listeners out there. So we just kind of want to help everybody come to an understanding of how we reach this point where we're able to come up with these ideas that you guys out there listen to, and then go back where you're at and have conversations with others and share it to people, and we can all learn something from this experience.
Yeah, the whole thing is we know we all sounding boards and we always be our worst critics. We want to be our worst critics. We want to bring y'all great content that y'all never heard before. We want to bring new stuff to the internet, to YouTube. This is what we sit back and we analyze and we want to bring it from our perspective. We're not coming from a gangster's perspective. We coming from an elder's perspective, that guys that came home from prison, changed their lives, rehabilitated, if that's what you want to call it. And we want to make sure y'all getting the best information that we could possibly give y'all. We pride ourselves on that. And we argue about that behind the scenes all the time. That's you, KK. All right, but okay, bro. But yeah, we have our mental joust. We text for about an hour last night at like 1 o'clock in the morning. We was going back.
Hey, yo, it's funny because I'm sitting there watching the text. I'm just chilling. I'm just watching it go back and forth.
Yo, you started it. You chimed in. You started it, and then you ended it. You kind of ended it too. But it was good though, because we didn't want to just give, because we started out with just the OG Mac story. I don't know if this is what Moshe had told y'all, but it started out with an OG Mac story. And my position was like, yo, that's stale. Dudes already knows OG Mac's story. And is it empowering, uplifting? We want to give you information that's always empowering and uplifting, and it's something that you can use in your daily life. And I'm not saying from our perspective, what the brother was saying, it wasn't good. It was a good thing, but I think it was much more powerful when you contrast him with other leaders, and especially KK bring the best contrast to the whole thing is, Ola didn't even start on the East Coast. Blood, gang banging, that style of gang banging didn't start even over here. So without putting them into the conversation, Tukis and like he said, the Raymond Washingtons and everybody else on that end, it's like we doing ourselves a disservice, So we just want to give y'all the best content, and we want to give y'all the most empowering, uplifting content at the same time. We don't want to just give y'all stuff that you can hear clown stuff anywhere on the internet. You can go on all the internet to get that. So we want to give y'all good stuff that's digestible, something that's gonna make you think, and something that you're gonna leave off saying, yo, I can show this to a kid and he can learn something from this. What you think about that, KK?
Well, listen, you already know how I feel. It's the same. It's the same thing, where it's just knowing how to actually address these issues and bring it to the people so they can actually understand. Because one of the things I've learned, man, when you know your history and you know where things come from, it gives you a better outlook on where you're going, and gives you actually a foundation, something to actually build upon. Because you look at like, yo, this was done already. This was done already. So why the hell are we continuing to do the same thing? We're supposed to be doing something better. And this was something that my father had told me a long time ago that I always remembered. Like, he wanted me to be better than him. And that was something that stood out to me. Like, I want you to be better than me. Even though I took me being young, I kind of took it like negatively in the sense, you know what I'm saying? Comparing it to, oh, my pop used to be in the street, so I'm gonna be iller. Or you know what I'm saying? It started interpreting it as that. But now looking at, you see where you come from, look at your education process, look at that, and it's like, oh, hold on, I could do this, I could do this, I can accomplish this, I can accomplish this. So now with this particular platform, it's just like, yo, we have to give people actually food for thought. We have to give them something to as they can take and look and learn from, even if it's just examples of our life and our hardships. Right, showing that, yo, bro, you don't want to go through that. You know what I'm saying? Because they say that's wisdom. Learning from other people's mistakes is having wisdom. You know what I'm saying? And that's real intelligence. Learning from other people's mistakes. So hopefully people actually do that and learn from, you know what I'm saying, other people's mistakes. And this actual thing of revolutionaries and gangsters is like, sometimes the lines get so blurred because the passion that individuals have, it be in a revolutionary sense. Like, like when we started, like with me, I knew that everybody didn't turn Ola, you know what I'm saying, or get recruited to come home because they wanted to fight against oppression. That wasn't everybody's thing. People did it just because their man was involved, or for financial reasons, or it was just a thing. It's my crew. I'm down with my team. Like, but you know what? I'm just gonna be that. I'm that by default. But when you actually join something for the purposes of what it was actually made for, you tend to look at things a little differently. You tend to study things a little differently and represent things a little differently.
Well, I want to address I mean, because we, our listeners out there tuned in right now, I'm sure that they saw the title of what our discussion is about tonight. And if this is your first time tuning in to We Locked In, I'm your host, Moshe Canty. I'm here with my co-host, KK and Mikey B. We're here to give you guys the truth, man. If this is your first time pulling up, please hit the like button, subscribe, share. Please, man. This is definitely what can benefit from. So when we talk about revolutionaries and gangbangers, right? There's so many different ways we can come from this, right? And let's look at it from the perspective of what these definitions mean, right? When you hear the word revolutionary, like what's your definition of that word right there? Like when you hear that, KK, what do you think when you hear revolutionary? What immediately comes to mind?
Fighting against oppression, fighting against some type of hardship, trying to change something that's destroying you, or having an adverse effect on you and your people. Taking the time to actually struggle and sacrifice for something greater than yourself. Being selfless is another thing that actually comes to mind. Those are the things that actually come to mind right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same. Palmer, you were gonna say something else?
No, go ahead, bro.
No, all right, Palmer. I was gonna say that when I think of the word revolution, and if you look in the word within the word revolution, you have the word evolution. So you can't have revolution without evolution. While both words themselves mean change, you have to evolve first before you can revolve. And what to revolve around something means to change your circumstances that's around you. So you have to first evolve within yourself so that you can then start focusing on changing the conditions around yourself. That's what immediately comes to mind when I think about that. So when I think about a revolutionary, this is exactly what this person is doing. To add to your point, this person is helping to change themselves so that they can ultimately change oppression or oppressive conditions that they themselves and their people are enduring. All right. And if you notice, many of the people that we put up on the thumbnail that you guys are seeing for today's episode, you got individuals up there that we put up there like Comrade George Jackson. We got Ida B. Wells. We got Safia Bukhari, among others. And these individuals themselves, these individuals committed their lives. They sacrificed their lives. They sacrificed their time, their freedom. They gave every dollar they had. They gave every ounce of blood, of their air in their bodies. They gave it so that we as a people can enjoy better conditions, right? When we talk about the revolutionaries like Malcolm X, and we talk about Elaine Brown, we talk about the Assata Shakurs, we talk about men and women, sisters and brothers. Shaka Sankofa. The list keeps going on and on. Kevin Rashid, Jay Burton. We can talk about many people from our generation, from the
Jay
past.
Burt. Y'all would love for him to pull up, man. If he somebody around, hit Jay Burt, man. So Jay Burt pull up.
When we're talking about these revolutionaries, we're talking about individuals who committed their time and their energy to see that the conditions of our people would be better. So not only that, these individuals understood that they were fighting against a system and a set of laws that were unjust, because our people, they realized were brought over here forcibly and changed. So any laws that were established after the fact were established unjustly, unjustifiably, illegally. You can't illegally enslave people and then justifiably make laws to further enslave them. So these individuals that were revolutionaries were fighting against these laws that they automatically believed to be unjust. So those individuals who are fighting these laws identify that the laws themselves are unjust. That's what a revolutionary is.
I wanted to say something because somebody had put Che Guevara in the chat, and Che Guevara just stood out to me because I read some more stuff on Che, and I loved his. Once I learned more and more about him, it was just how strategic, how intelligent. Like like who he actually. I'm saying like the man that he was, and I always use that quote. Maybe I heard it. You know what I'm saying? Every revolutionary act is an act of love. And I got that from him because he loved his people. Well, one of the things that happened in Cuba, though, when they were speaking, was that other people wanted to help, right? Other countries, other things wanted to get on board and help. And one of the things he had said was that he didn't want any help because the people had to liberate themselves. They had to learn from themselves because if they didn't, they would always be dependent on someone coming to their aid, trying to rescue them, and get them out of their condition. And the reason I mention that is because, when we speak about revolution, every revolutionary act starts with self, right? The dramatic change of self. So if you don't have these particular things inside of you, right, to change certain things in yourself, then of course your outside surroundings, stuff like that, you're not going to change. You're not going to do something because the revolution actually starts with yourself. And I realized personally, I realized that because it wasn't until not just reading, what I'm saying, even though it helped and educated myself, not just reading, but a revolution started to take place within me, right? And I was combating with certain mindsets and ideology that was already implanted in my head, certain things that I done got used to and stuck with, certain chains I had to actually break off, which was hard as them said to get rid of, to actually see what a real revolution is. And then I started looking at the gang perspective, because this is what I actually wanted. I wanted to fight certain things against it, but then now looking at the gang perspective and the gang culture and those that was actually leading, it was like, hold up, it was like a mixed drink. You know what I'm saying? You think it is sweet and good, and but it got something in there that's gonna have you bugging, right? You had a number call me. Got you. It'll have you bugging, and this is the thing, when you mixed bad with the good. I'm saying, when you put alcohol in with fruit juice, it's like, yo, hold on, I thought we stood for this. So what happened? Like, what's up with the drugs? What's up with the extortion? What's up with the the senseless acts of violence? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on with these particular things? If we're supposed to stand for something revolutionary, if we're supposed to be fighting against something that's detrimental not only to us but to all of our people, what happened. And like jumping right now, Moshe, but it was another something that I read that stuck out to me. And just on behalf of the homies, it was just like, when you're fighting a monster, be careful not to become one. And this was the thing that I actually seen started to take place. Salute, jail. This is what I started to see take place. It's like you get into the mix of fighting against the system and fighting, and then now you're starting to use the same tactics, you know what I'm saying, and the same nonsense that these people is using against us.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. And I understand that, and that's why I'm saying that, when we talk about revolution and you defining that word and you kind of adhering to what a revolutionary is, we're talking about somebody who is just making drastic changes regarding conditions that they believe to be unjust and oppressive, and they're doing everything within their power to change those conditions. An example would be individuals like, and let's go back to the past, and I spoke about like laws that were established. So the system of slavery was established off the backs of our people. Let's just use that, and then we'll come forward, right? So you have people like Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was once a slave who freed herself and then was going back repeatedly to go get individuals to fight for their freedom. She knew the system of slavery was unjust. She knew it was illegal. She knew it was immoral. She knew it was just a system that was established by avaricious people. These individuals who were exploiting individuals for their own diabolical objectives. So she fought against that system, and she fought to eradicate that system and free individuals so that they would not be subjected to that system of slavery themselves, right? That is a revolutionary act, right? She also was a part of the Civil War, where she was a scout for the Union soldiers, and she would then, because she knew the terrain of the land so much, that she was able to lead the Union soldiers into battle to fight against Confederate soldiers and then ultimately help free these slaves. So, or help win battles that will ultimately lead to the ending of the Civil War and slavery, quote unquote, being over in the chattel form, right? In the chattel sense, right? So that's a dramatic or a drastic act of now moving forward now, right? Other laws or other things exist within the society itself, and you still had other individuals like members of the Black Panther Party, for instance, right? For a Black Panther Party for self-defense. These individuals, like initially Bobby Seals and David Hilliard and Little Bobby Hutton and all of these original founders of the Black Panther Party, these individuals had a belief that they were going to provide services to the community because the community itself was being deprived of these basic necessities because the system itself was oppressing the people. For instance, medical care, adequate food, housing, right, being treated fairly and justly within the criminal justice system, among other rights, right? So these individuals literally said to themselves that we're gonna police ourselves. We're not gonna allow racist police who are gunning us down in these streets to establish a rule of law. We're going to utilize a system in which we would police the police, where we would watch them, we would observe them, etc., etc. These acts were, they became a threat to the system. These individuals gave their lives. Many were slaughtered. Many were gunned down in the streets. Many were sent to prison for the rest of their lives. Many were framed. Many are still in exile. Some had to go underground. Some, like Assata Shakur, who currently resides in Cuba, were framed for charges that didn't happen. Many individuals like Jalil Muntaqim, Herman Bell, all of these individuals spent 45, 50 years in prison because of the fact that these individuals were fighting just to feed people. It's one thing to say, I'm going to throw this man in jail because this person committed a crime or what have you. But these individuals were literally soldiers for the Black Underground and were thrown in prison because they wanted to ensure that our people would not be getting gunned down in the streets, or the fact that our people were being starved out and they didn't have adequate housing or food. So we're going to provide adequate housing, food, and medical care for the people in the community. Who's doing that now as a group of people who are meeting the needs, the daily needs of the people, and are being targeted by the government, saying that they are the biggest threat to the national security of the nation? This is some serious stuff here. So when I think about revolutions, I'm thinking about revolutionaries. I'm thinking about these type of people who did everything in their power to ensure that our conditions, those of us today, would live better lives so that we wouldn't have to suffer the way that they suffered and the way that our predecessors suffered before them.
And it was crazy. Someone had just put 10-point program, right? And I was actually just thinking about that, just some of the things that was going on. And one of the aspects was the COINTELPRO thing, where they actually stopped when the Panthers was actually trying to unify and trying to bring some of the street gangs together. And one of the things was with Jeff Ford, who's still in prison to this day on crazy charges, whereas he had, he had Stones, whatever, out of Chicago, and then rest in peace, brother that just played the Stone that just passed away too. I can't believe I just forgot his name just now. What was the P Stone that just passed away recently?
The P Stone, who? Jeff Ford? Jeff Ford just passed away?
No, not Jeff Ford.
Oh, what? You talking about T. Rogers?
T. Rogers, man, rest in peace, T. Rogers. Like one of the, even him, like one of the things that they was trying to do back then is when Hampton and Bobby Sealand had reached out to them when Jeff Ford originally got locked up, to actually unify them, to actually show them, like, yo, bro, listen, this is what y'all need to do. Y'all have this stuff, these power with these youth are standing together, y'all protecting our communities, which they were actually doing, protecting their communities. But now once you start involved with other things, you give the enemy power to actually come in and do stuff. So now the talks was good. They was about to, like, things was going good, but then you had, just like make sure y'all look this up, the COINTELPRO thing, y'all look this up, when they started manufacturing letters, right, as they were sending to the prison and sending to Panther headquarters, like it was coming from Jeff, and Jeff said it was coming from the Panthers, to actually try to create a war between them, right? To actually start something between them so they can go at each other. Now, the good thing is one of them had went up there to go see Jeff or went to the visit to actually go see him. Just like step two, like we ain't even gonna do this through no letters. I'm coming up there. So when he came up there to speak to him, he found like, nah, I ain't seen that letter, I ain't seen it, but the distrust and all that was kind of set in already. You know what I'm saying? It was already set in. So it was like, hold on, I don't know. You telling me that you didn't send it. I'm telling you didn't send it. It's like they're not really believing that the feds or whatever would go through that extent, even though it's in the back of their head, but they're not thinking that they would go to that extent to actually disrupt them. But what ended up happening is, even though they didn't go at it, which they were trying to do, but they didn't unite though. They just actually parted ways. And it made me think about like to break things up further, like I used to be in the yard, like with Herman Bell. And one of the things he used to always say to me, like he'd be running, we'd be working out, he'll talk like, okay, y'all need politics. Y'all need politics. And this is wanting to refer and talk to other gang. Oh man, Free J Bird. I said I wanted him to come up. I wanted him to come up.
My people, I've been listening to the whole thing. I mean, I really appreciate y'all giving me my dues. I really appreciate y'all, man. Y'all spit some real stuff. So I had to come in. We got a lot of our people that's been watching. I've been telling them come over. Got Jay Renee, salutes to Jay Renee, Teresa, Global Empire, salutes to all y'all. So y'all continue. I'm jump in when I'm needed. And Milo all the time.
Yeah, so like, we were just going into like just showing how even the part that the government actually played in disrupting a lot of the times when dudes were trying to come together, where you had revolutionary organizations and then gang leaders, whereas they would actually speak and try to come together to build something, but then there was always something else thrown in the mix, which actually caused that distrust. So even a lot of the I know on the East Coast, and I know with Stones because that's where I came with the Stone, and I was on the East Coast as well. But a lot of our ideologies came from revolutionary practices. A lot of it came from Islam. A lot of it came from the 5% thing. But it was just the individuals that was coming in. A lot of them didn't actually take hold of that, either due to them just wanting to come in because of their man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just riding with my homie, or this is just he's from my neighborhood. Or they just want to get in.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to the whole divide and conquer thing, KK. But I want us to kind of like stay on script so that we could like help define these terms so that the listeners out there can have a better understanding of exactly what these terms mean, so that nobody is misled into thinking it's anything other than. Then we'll be able to kind of like summarize and sum everything up and kind of correlate, why divide and conquer, when it came, and things like that. But I want to get now to the question of a gangbanger, because some would argue that gangbangers are revolutionaries, right? Depending. I see somebody below put into the chat that individuals in the German that ain't fighting against the old German society, against old traditional values, autocratic and totalitarian regimes is a way to free yourself of totalitarian oppression. And is that a revolutionary act? So we'll get to that, but I want to know about gang banging itself. When I think about gang banging, we're talking about the people who we have on our thumbnail was who we put up Larry Hoover, we put up Tookie, we didn't put up Raymond Washington, we put up OG Mac. Willie Lloyd's picture was on it, but his picture, it couldn't fit into the thumbnail. But these is individuals who had a hand in creating what? Jeff Foote was up there, the Black Peace Stones, the black
the BLA,
David.
Yeah. But he's actually going into
all of these different groups were founded by individuals who themselves.
Freezing up.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, bro. Yeah. Now he's
okay. I think Moshe is when he speak from a gang member's perspective, let's start from when we let's go back into the Panthers time during the 60s and early 70s. They had to neutralize and kill and incarcerate every Black Panther that was an actual